Welcome to Loans and Drones. This is Bill Pendley, and this is episode 28. We have a special guest today, Max Saladino. He is a new hire with UHM, the company that we work for, and you do not want to miss this. So let's go. All right, Max, welcome.
Bill, thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
How you doing?
Good, very good.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Who is Max? By the way, I just want to let you know that Max is probably one of the coolest names that I think of. So we're thinking about branding, right? I would say you're Mad Max, but you're not mad. He's always happy. So
yeah, Max is a happy guy.
You are a happy guy.
I will say my real name is actually Christian, though.
Okay.
So
well,
if we're getting to know me,
we have a Christian right here. Did you know that?
Great name.
There you go.
But yeah, I go by my middle name Max. Always have. You can thank my mother for that. So my dad's name was Chris, so my mom was just like, let's keep it easy. Yeah. We're going to call you by your middle name, Max.
Okay. So are you originally from this area? Tell me about yourself.
Yep. Grew up in Arlington Heights. From there, moved to Michigan, so just east of Lansing, Michigan.
Okay.
Was there for a couple years.
You do know I'm from Michigan, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Different part of the state, though, right?
Yeah. Did we talk about that before?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we touched on it.
So what town in Michigan?
I was in Okemos, Michigan.
Yeah, I know that's that.
So I think like 30 minutes out from Michigan State University campus, something like that.
Nice.
Spent some time there, yeah. And then from there, moved back to the suburbs of Chicago. Was in Lamont, Illinois. And then moved up to the northern suburbs, Crystal Lake, after that.
Wow.
So been around a little bit, but, always Midwest.
Okay, cool. So did you go to school in Michigan? Where did you go to school?
No. So went to high school in Crystal Lake South, and then I went to college, Illinois State University.
Redbirds, right?
Go Redbirds.
That's where my wife's from.
Yep.
Yeah.
I loved it.
You guys probably, wait, you're... Oh my gosh! So we were talking about it last night. She goes, so he's class of 2007, right? Are you?
Yeah, high school.
Oh my gosh! So is she?
Oh wow!
Yeah, and she went to Illinois State. So you guys probably were bumping into each other.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at dinner.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. This is what I love about these podcasts. Like you get information that you don't realize that you're actually going to get. It's because you're having this interpersonal conversation.
Yep.
So that's awesome. So out of college, did you get into mortgages, or what happened after college?
Yeah, so I got my degree in sociology. So not too many jobs that are hiring sociology majors, at least bachelor. At the time, This was post 07, 08 crash. So 2011, I graduated, did some odds and ends, and then I actually was hit up by like a temp agency. And this mortgage company that was in the area was hiring like crazy. So temp agency hit me up, and my first job in the mortgage industry was literally stacking closing packages in order. So those are my very humble beginnings.
Love it.
Into the industry.
So kind of like a mailroom scenario, right? Like you're like just stacking docs.
Yep. So we would get packages like that fat.
Yeah.
And I would literally just put them in order, and we were working 14-hour days probably, just putting papers in order, scanning them so that the next person in the assembly line could do their thing.
Yeah. So what year was that when you got in?
I think that was 2012.
Okay, so right after the crash.
Yep. So that was the refi wave at that time.
Right.
So this company was just doing tons of volume. They were hiring anyone with a heartbeat. I was very fortunate to be one of those heartbeats. Did that for a little bit, and then worked my way to a different area within the company. And that's where I started to get a sense of the industry a little bit more. The role was a little bit further reaching. So did that, and then as the refis dried up, I saw 3 layoffs happen, and I was like, all right, I got to find some stability, but I like the industry. So from there, I ended up working for one of the GSEs, so Fannie, Freddie, and then there's the Federal Home Loan Bank system.
Yep.
Worked for them, and then that's where I got to see the big picture.
Yeah.
Where the primary side of the market connects to the secondary side. And that was a big eye opener.
Yeah.
And I mean, really where I kind of fell in love with the mortgage industry.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool. So who was the first company you were working with?
It was Interbank.
Interbank.
Yep.
I think I remember them.
Yeah, I think they go by InterFirst now.
Yes. They were okay. So yeah, were they a Michigan company?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay,
they were.
There was I thought there was an InterFirst that was with Michigan, but either way,
They were out of Lincolnshire at the time.
got it.
So predominantly wholesale. They had a retail presence, and then they did correspondent as well. And viewers, like in the mortgage industry, there's a lot of different business models and flavors. So all of that's going to sound like gibberish, but basically a company that mortgage brokers would send their business to, and then they would in turn give that business to the secondary market.
Yeah. So one of the things I like what you said, and I realized this after you started here, is that, well, in just recent conversations, is that you're a technician. Like, you know the file inside and out more so than anybody, and that's great to have as far as a loan officer. That's an excellent hire when you look at bringing somebody on. Is if they're a technician, they're not going to throw slop at the wall. So I think anybody that's like bringing anybody into the industry, the first part is actually learning the file and how you stack the file and putting documents in, because there's so many people out there that actually, even loan officers have been in the business for 20 years. Our past president of my first company said that loan officers grab documents and hide their eyes because they would just take documents and never look at it. And so to have that is good training ground for you to where you're at right now. So, so after you left there, you went into and saw all facets of the world and saw the big picture. How long were you at that company?
That was a good 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
But I always had a desire to work with people a bit more.
Yeah.
So instead of just constantly looking at data on a screen, I was like, I got to get over to the people side of the business, and that's when I made the jump into becoming a loan originator. So, your point about me being a technician, yeah, like the mortgage industry on the back end needs detail-oriented individuals. Yep. So I'm super grateful for that experience. Not only that, but I'm grateful that I was able to get a sense of the industry and what goes into it.
Right.
There's so much that goes into it. And me starting as an LO without that experience, I can't think of what it would have ended well.
Right.
Or started off well, I should say. So yeah, having some experience prior to, and then being able to then leverage that experience into what I'm doing now, very, very grateful and fortunate for that opportunity.
Well, that's why we brought you on.
Yeah.
So what do you like about the industry? Like, you brought up a bunch of words that many people don't know. But he's considered a retail loan officer, which means he's working with people now. But you got wholesale that reaches business to business, most likely that you're gonna send loans to a different company. But you do like people. So what's your favorite thing about the industry right now?
Yeah, favorite thing about the industry is really just being able to develop like true relationships with people, whether that's the client, me getting to know them as I'm handling their loan and getting them into a home, or referral partners.
Yeah.
The referral partners that I have, every single one of them, we've truly become friends. And what a cool thing to be able to do business with those that you actually love and enjoy.
Yeah. Right.
So that to me is probably the most appealing aspect of being an originator. The industry in general, it is such a huge industry. There are so many different roles and organizations that make up the mortgage industry. So getting to see that web and how all those pieces fit together, it's one big crazy puzzle, and it's endless. I mean, just when I think I know how something works, it's like, I learned something else, and it's cool.
It's challenging too. I mean, it's not easy. Every agent that I have on here, they'll always say, even the top producing agents, they'll say, no, it's not as easy as you think. It's hard at that first year. So did you find it pretty difficult in your first year of originating?
Oh yeah. Even having some prior experience within the industry, it doesn't prepare you for what being a loan officer actually entails.
Yeah.
You're constantly accessible. You need to be in order to succeed. Like if you're not picking up your phone, someone else will.
Right.
You got to find balance. You know, it's not the type of thing where you can say I'm gonna set up these boundaries and force work-life balance. It's like there are these pockets of time, and when you see it, you gotta take it, type thing. Or at least that's my experience.
Yeah. No, you're nailing it. Like I'm still listening to this every day. I'm still trying to figure out the work-life balance.
Yep.
So how do you explain that to your wife?
Oh man, that's a conversation we're still having. It was a bit of a negotiation, right? Like, and it comes in waves. So it's definitely cyclical and seasonal. And I think she's starting to adapt to that a little bit. But you have to talk about it. You know, there are times where I could just throw myself into work and think about nothing else, and she'll remind me. You know, she's kind of the yin to my yang, if you will. I bet you and a lot of other professionals in this industry can relate to that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You have to like stop at the door and go, okay, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not doing this to get away from my life. I'm doing it to help my role in my marriage.
Right.
Know? And fortunately, it sounds like she understands that. My wife understands it too. Like if I have to grab a phone call, then she knows it's not for pleasure most of the time, you know?
Yep.
So
yep. Yeah. And you gotta pick and choose. You know, ask yourself, is this truly a phone call where if I don't answer, things are going to fall apart, or I'm not going to get that deal, right?
No, it's a good discernment. Yeah.
If either of those two things is possible, then yeah, pick up that phone call.
Yeah.
If it's a file that is, you know, in process and you know things are humming along, it's going without a hitch, yeah, you could get back to it. So maybe that's what I was getting to when I was explaining, like, you gotta find the balance. Mm-hmm. It could be all consuming if you let it be.
Right.
But if you put a little bit more thought into it and you're more intentional, you know, for your sake and those around you, you can make it work, and you have to.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why I came over to UHM was just for the simple fact that they love the production. What company doesn't love production? Right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But what they want is they want to build a person that has character and that has that well-being in a full-rounded person, and that's what we're getting coached on. So, and that's why we built the model that we built, so that you can have, yes, you're driven by production, but at the end of the day, you still have to have a family life. We don't want to sit there and a year later find out that Max is going through a divorce and all this other stuff.
Right.
Because you put too much time and energy into this, which is not right. It's in unequal balance there, I guess is my point. So what was your draw to UHM?
Can I say Bill Pendley?
100%.
Yeah, no, Bill Pendley for sure.
Thank you. Just kidding.
Another plug, Nick Gershon.
Yeah.
Someone that you've done business with. He's a realtor, works in Naperville, but handles all the surrounding suburbs. So he hit me up and just kind of mentioned your name and how great of a guy you were. From there, you reached out. I could tell you were a genuine dude, and we right out the gate agreed on many things in our approach to business, how we converse with people, how we treat people. So I sensed a lot of similarities there. Obviously, you're good at what you do. So I knew that I was at the point in my career where I was ready to kind of scale it up. Mm-hmm. And knowing that I'd be working alongside you and names like Tim Brigham, it was just kind of a perfect storm, if you will. Like things really came together at a time when I was ready for them to do so.
Yeah, I mean, we're so excited to have you on board. In fact, like everybody, Max you're gonna close your first deal this week.
Yeah,
Friday. We're filming this on February 3rd, right? Yeah, February 3rd. Friday is his first deal. Got that done in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was a quick one.
Yeah.
Yep. So I submitted it on my birthday, actually.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank you. January 24th, I was in Florida. We got the second iteration of that contract. First one fell through. Another great agent, Riley Hextel, got another property under contract right away and submitted that deal on Friday, got the clear to close the following Friday, closing this Friday, so 2 weeks, which is wild. I mean, that's quick.
That's smoking.
And it went without a hitch too, which speaks towards UHM and their back end processes. So,
yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, the one thing that whenever anybody's looking at finding a company, the two things you look for is platform, which I feel like a lot of people are similar, but some have better than others. I feel like we have an excellent platform, but the other piece is culture. I think so many people and so many companies miss this piece. So in order to do a deal that fast, you didn't have to steamroll, right? I mean, there wasn't any...
No rushes.
No angry people like through that. That's that behind the scenes, people go, oh, yeah, I closed it, but I actually probably made about 10 people mad. But everybody gets in line and actually puts things together for people like yourself that are coming on board. So I think that's huge when you're looking at a company.
Right. Yeah, no grays were added during this process.
You were the quiet little producer right there. I didn't hear anything. You just had one question at the beginning. You go, can I do this? I go, go for it.
Yeah. I asked
for
Bill.
It, buddy.
I asked for permission. I was like, I don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Yeah.
I'm new to the company.
Yeah.
Can we promise this quick close? And he's like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a really cool experience. And you talk about culture. I was able to go out to the headquarters in Ohio, and seeing everyone at the office like actually smiling, and I mean everyone. That was pretty wild. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. And Bill Cosgrove, the owner of the company, he made everyone laugh in the room at training. He was telling this story about another industry professional visited the campus and asked the question, like, how do you make everyone so happy? And his answer to that was, I only hire happy people. And I couldn't help but laugh at that. And I think that's very telling. Culture is something that you maintain, but it also happens at the door, right? Who do you hire?
Right.
I think that's kind of the thing about culture that's maybe overlooked. It's not always attributed to what the company's actually doing. I think, in large part, yeah, that's the case, but it's who they're bringing into the company as well. Right.
Yeah, no, I couldn't say it better myself. You nailed it. It's one of those things where you also look at it and going, it's coming from top down. So you also can see that they do deal with things. Any company deals with a little drama or maybe a lot of drama. And what he said when I came on board is he goes, we address it first. If they can't fix it, then we address it again.
Yep.
There's another way to look at it. And you just have that. Sometimes you don't have the perfect hire, and all of a sudden you got to go, maybe this company isn't for that person that came on. But for the most part, like I said, I still have yet to find somebody that's angry at this company, which is kind of weird. Like it's kind of unicornish, like you don't see that so much in the industry.
Right.
And you hear things from other companies like, I'm miserable. I'm not happy. I got these people that just won't work. And it's like, okay, well, then you have to change one thing or the other. It's either they got to go find somewhere else or you got to let them find somebody else, something else,
Yeah. And how you treat others at work, it translates in such a big way into, how they will work along with you or for you if you're in that position.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just going in and always maintaining a positive disposition is going to do way more for you. Even if you kind of have to fake it at times, that's still going to result into a much more positive experience than the converse. So there, in my mind, there's no place for it.
Right. Right.
Check it at the door.
Yep. And I had to learn the hard way many times. So just so you know, I've been down that road where I tried it the hard way. Like right when I got in the industry, I was like trying to be this, I don't know, just arrogance. I mean, it still had like the quarterback back. I was a decent quarterback back in the day, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, athlete, but I had arrogance with it. So like, I got my leg taken out. Literally, my leg snapped in half on an interception at one point, and it was like that was God telling me, "Hey, look, you got to humble yourself." And it took so many more years to kind of figure it out. But now I'm kind of getting that, and by having you and Derek Malley come on and great guys that I'm actually inspired by your guys' attitude at where you guys are in your professional career. So thank you for being that person. That's awesome. One of the things I love about UHM is that they do meetings every day. I'm like, it was daunting at the beginning. Like when I first came out, I'm like, there's no way I can do a meeting every day. But what I've been doing was like, okay, if that's a company model, then I'm going to try it. Mm-hmm. So we've done it with our team, with our individual meeting with our team for 15 minutes a day. And I'm like, something to be said about communication and consistently communicating with your team and with your company is huge. Yeah. The minute you drift away from that is the minute people get surprise attacked on files like what you just said. Mm-hmm. And then you are in a surprise moment and people react and they say things they shouldn't say or say things they don't want to say to people,
Yep.
So I don't know. What do you think about that? Did you have a lot of meetings with other companies that you worked for?
Yeah. The last company I was with, that was on the broker side of the business. So we had check-ins every single day to, really review the pipeline. So the mortgage industry, the front end of it, working with clients and borrowers, it's very high touch. There's a lot of communicating that happens. So making sure that the loan officer as well as the processor or loan officer assistant, making sure that they're all on the same page with all the communication that's going on, things that could influence the deal either positively or negatively, making sure everyone is in sync and in tune with one another. I think it's super important. But that's on like the production side of things.
Right.
But yeah, with what you're talking about, I think more so is again that cultural component.
Right.
And you have a lot of experience, a lot of tips and tricks. So, that's a time to share all of that and really just kind of make sure that we're functioning as a unit, right? And giving consistent experiences, no matter who your loan officer is.
Right.
And, just building a solid process.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Now we're at the point of the episode where we do 3 random questions. Okay.
I saw that in the brief.
Yeah.
Gave me a little anxiety. Let's see.
Everybody says that. It's 100% all the time. Everybody goes, I don't know if I can answer these questions. So
can I get back to you if I can't?
You can, yeah. We'll just have to take another clip from a different. You just
perfect. I might be wearing a different shirt.
You said it, Chris. We're gonna have to get another clip from him. Okay. So if you could be anywhere in the world today, where would it be?
Ooh. Favorite place I've ever traveled to was Peru. I would say Peru.
Really?
For sure. Yeah.
Is that where they have the alpacas?
Yeah.
Is that Mount? Is it where they?
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
You went to Machu Picchu?
I did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I did it was a 4-day hike, through the Andes Mountains.
Really?
Beautiful scenery. I mean, if you're able to do it, do it. It's by no means an easy hike.
Yeah.
So prep for it. Definitely acclimate yourself to the altitude beforehand. But yeah, it's just the most diverse country I've ever been to. So many different types of experiences that you could have there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd go with Peru.
Really?
Yeah.
How long ago did you do that?
Oh, I've been 3 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you must like it.
I liked it. Yeah.
That's cool.
So, last time I went, maybe like 7 years ago or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Second question. What's one thing that's been life-changing for you that somebody said? Like, what's one thing that somebody said that's been life-changing for you?
Oh, man. I'll give credit to my mother, but I think the OGs would be Confucius or Jesus. golden rule.
Yeah.
Just treat people how you want to be treated. And she gave me this example of a CEO that would kind of place plants, people, at various checkpoints as an interviewee was coming through. And if that individual treated any one of those people poorly, they were out.
Really?
Yeah. And I try to maintain that no matter who I'm talking to. Yeah. And it's funny because it kind of parallels to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, right. It does.
With, just being positive.
Right.
The best you can, just maintain that positivity, and more good will come of it than anything else.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say golden rule.
It is a golden rule. It's funny, you and Derek Malley both had similar responses to that.
Yeah?
Yeah, so you guys are two
not
peas in a
surprised by
pod.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys are
Derek's
good
a cool
guys.
guy.
Seriously, you guys are good. We can't say enough about you, and that's one thing about our company is that they're so supportive of you. They were so rooting you on when you sent your first deal. So
Yep.
I see that back and forth, and genuinely, like, they like you. The company likes you. I can just tell. Which is exactly what you want. You want to be the likable guy, right? You don't wanna
Yeah.
you don't want to be the guy that comes in and all of a sudden people are like, "Oh gosh, not him again." So, okay. Last question. This is probably a pretty easy one, but if you could have anything to eat, what's your favorite food?
Ooh, give me like an Italian seafood dish.
All right.
So I might butcher the pronunciation. Zuppa de pesque.
Zuppa de pesque.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
pesque is a fish, right?
yeah, it's
Okay.
like noodles, and you've got all these different types of fish in it: clams, mussels, actual fish, shrimp, scallops. Put a little bit of red pepper flakes on that. That's
Really?
Oh yeah.
Where do you get that at? Is there a go-to restaurant that you can name right now that'd be a shout out to somebody that has that perfect dish for you?
Oh, I've had so many good dishes. I worked at a place actually in Libertyville. They have it's family-owned restaurant.
Love it.
They have a great fish noodle dish. Zuppa
Really?
pesque. Maybe it's called that there, but I gotta look up the name of it. I think it's Trattoria Pomigliano.
Okay.
But yeah, worked there. Super nice family.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much. You are awesome. I'm excited to see what this year brings and the years coming ahead are going to bring for you and your business. You are already just taking everything in, and I love it. You just posted your first video that we did together, and it's awesome. You're doing great. How can people get a hold of you if they wanted to contact Max?
Yeah, so cell is best. Hit me up on my cell. We'll drop my contact info as part of this. But yeah, cell, email, Instagram. Really, you contact me and I'll get back to you.
Yeah. What's your handle on Instagram?
It's Mr. Mortgage Max.
Mr. Mortgage Max.
Yep.
Awesome.
I got that alliteration going.
Love it. Love it. Thanks for coming on to Loans and Drones. We'll see you on the next episode.